Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be working on this fairy tale cottagecore painting in oil paints. Also along the way I'll be explaining my painting process. Mainly the colors I'll be using for this painting are zinc titanium white, yellow pale, rose, Persian blue, light red, burnt umber, and later I would be using gold to add border around the painting. You can also use three primary colors and white to create all the colors that I've used. I'm mixing white with a little bit of Persian blue to create color of sky. Persian blue is a very strong color, so a little bit of it goes a long way. I'm using a flat brush to cover most area of the sky. Also, it's much easier to cover less detailed area quickly with a flat brush. I'm adding a little bit more of blue in previous color to create a darker hue. As I apply this color, I'm also blending it with the previous color to create a gradient. For the remaining sky, I'm directly taking Persian blue and a little bit of previously mixed color to apply it on my canvas board. Make sure to wipe your brush on a paper towel. I'm taking a very small brush and a white color to paint a crescent moon. I wanted a pastel pink cloud, so here I'm taking white, some rose color and a bit of light red to create these two tones of pink for shadow and the area of cloud which would be in light. For clouds, I'll be using a round brush since it's better with detail, and using that wherever I need to indicate shadows, I'll be using darker tone of pink. After being done with shadows, I'm using the pastel pink color to create the shape of clouds as well as blend into the previous color. For oil paints, I find it much easier to go from dark to light than light to dark, and you can always tweak the colors a little bit after they have dried. I found that working with just two colors made the clouds look a little bit flat, so I'm adding a highlight. I'm mixing yellow, Persian blue and light red to create this earthy green color foreground. also blending this color with pink to create a much softer look. I will add much more detail on ground after working on character. For her skin, I'm using whatever color that I think is right. I found that with skin, using different hues of color gives a much realistic look. Adding some blush color and using greens and blue in shadows work well. Painting on small scale can be difficult when it comes to detail. For her dress, I used some dark gray tones for grays, and I also like that if some tonal variation is present within the painting, with some places that are leaning towards brown and some that are leaning more towards blue. Then I'm using a very light pink color which is near white for the dress and blending it with gray to give the impression of fabric. Her little book was a little bit difficult to paint, but I used the same kind of colors from her dress to paint the book, and then I just added some random scribbles on it. For her hair, I mixed Persian blue with raw umber. I frequently mix these colors for painting hair. It's also good to mix these two colors than using black straight out of tube. I'm mixing a bit of yellow and burnt umber in previously mixed colors to create color for chair. With previous earthy green colors, I mixed yellow to create a lighter green for painting grass. Here you can see the details better. I'm using the same blue I used for sky to add more details on ground. I'm using white to create these star shapes on the sky. Usually I don't create stars like this, but I like the look of being painted like this. It requires much more time and patience to paint them like this, but the result is worth it. I'm again creating the same colors I made for ground. It's really good for painting greenery over it. For now, I'm using it to create a border for my painting. I forgot to include this in, but I also use gold paint to create this border on painting. I'm using the same pink I used for clouds, shadow, and just roughly applying it where I want the flowers to be. I didn't really care that much about being precise. I'm just using some dark muddy green color to cover the rest of the space. It looks black on the camera, but I promise it's very dark green color. When you apply mid green and light green on it, it looks very realistic. For flowers, I didn't care that much and used a light pink color to create shapes to indicate flowers. They can be fun and therapeutic to paint. I'm just using a mid-green color to create the shape of leaves, and I'm not very precise with it, just adding them randomly wherever I feel. Now I'm using the lightest green color to create highlights. With highlight, try not to overdo it. Keep in mind that you should also be able to see midtones and shadows. And the last step in painting is to sign when it's complete. I don't sign it but use my initials in a box. I hope I keep using them for a long time. And with that, the painting process is done. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it somewhat helpful if you're using oil paints.